Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. I came across an article talking about how rich countries are becoming addicted to cheap labor. And I wanted to give my commentary because, quite frankly, I hear a lot of, how should I say, narratives being pushed on why certain, groups, particularly rich countries or even business owners, do what they do. And I just wanted to at least provide a counter narrative, but more importantly, help you to understand how you can personally benefit from these situations so you can have success economically. Let's begin. Uh, Migration levels worldwide have, been quite in flux. A debate is built among economists over whether some industries are becoming too dependent on foreign labor. Many business owners say that bringing in low skilled foreign workers has become essential as local populations age and labor forces shrink. In rural Wisconsin, John Rosenau says it is impossible to find locals to work on his 1,000-acre dairy farm. He relies on 13 Mexican immigrants, up from 8 to 10 a decade ago. That has enabled him to avoid making costly investments in robots that can help milk cows as some other dairy farmers have. Now, you got this individual, right? John. He's saying that it's impossible to find locals to work on his thousand acre dairy farm. And let me ask you this question. If you were to get paid $500 an hour to work at McDonald's for about 35 hours a week, would you do it? Answer is yeah. You would do that. Why? Because it's about the money at the end of the day. See, this individual, John Rosenau, right? Or John Rosenau, he wishes to acquire labor at the cheapest expense. Now, he says he relies on 13 Mexican immigrants. Let me explain something to you, okay? Those 13 Mexican immigrants, more often than likely, those particular immigrants were not here legally, okay? That's just the fact of the matter. I'm not trying to hate on these people. That's just the fact of the matter. Now, this business owner was willing to hire those particular immigrants. Why? Because in the long term, he'll get the most money. Okay. Two, most of these people, stereotypically speaking, they come in as a group, they live together, etc. And three, if they ever put up and say some nonsense, guess what? John Rosenau just straight up calls ICE. Now, those people, when they're there doing whatever they, supposed to do, he's not going to call ICE. But once they start to act up, he's going to call ICE. Now, let's continue. We get really good people, Rosenau says. With immigrant labor, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to double employment, I could get it done within a week. To some economists, however, dependence on importer workers is approaching unhealthy levels in some places, stifling productivity growth and helping businesses delay the search for more sustainable solutions to labor shortages. Those solutions could include bigger investments in automation or more radical restructuring, such as business closures, which are painful but may be necessary long term, these economists say. So let me explain something to you. Okay. The goal of the business is to continuously make some money. And the business is particularly controlled by who? The business person. Okay, the businessman, the businesswoman, etc. For there to include bigger investments, that would have to be assumed that the person leading said business is comfortable making those bigger investments. See, a lot of these people who lead these, corporate enterprises, they don't care about, sustainable solutions to labor shortages because their goal is to get rid of labor. Why? Because labor is an expense to their cost of operations. Now, you heard the gentleman earlier John Rosenau, he said, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to double employment, I could get it done within a week. If he wanted to. Okay. But he needs to have labor at a particular wage standard in order to do that. All right. Now let's continue on. Once industry is organized in a certain way and the structure encourages employers to recruit migrants, it can be very hard to turn back, said Martin Ruz, a professor of migration studies in Florence, Italy. In some cases, policymakers should ask, does it make sense? Said Ruz, who is also a former member of the UK Migration Advisory Committee, which advises the British government on migration policy. The debate is likely to heat up further as Western societies teeter closer to a demographic abyss. For the first time since World War II, the working age population is shrinking across advanced economies. The European Union's working age population will shrink by 1/5 through 2050, according to a recent report by German insurer Allianz. So let's explain, okay, very quickly. Population abyss. Why is there a population abyss? Well, it's very simple. When you live in an industrial society, okay, not an agricultural society, but when you live in an industrialized society, okay, you, as a parent, if you're making a living for yourself, okay, a child is an expense. So let me repeat this again. A child is an expense and is a liability financially. I want to say something real quick, okay? And this is actually one of the reasons why I don't particularly enjoy espousing personal finance rhetoric, is because if you look at things all the time from a financial perspective, you'll come to understand certain things does not make financial sense. So having a kid in an industrialized society is a financial liability. Now, I'm not talking about spiritual benefits. I'm not talking about economic benefits. I'm not talking about social benefits. I'm not even talking about political benefits. I am merely talking about, let me repeat this again. I am merely talking about financial. Okay? Because everyone wants to financialize relationships in the industrial era. Why? Because once you've done everything in manufacturing, you move into a service and knowledge economy. But the problem with the service and knowledge economy is that that's predominantly based upon intangibles, which, although money, the currency is tangible, is based upon an intangible relationship. If I work 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 hours a week, what time do I have to raise my child? In fact, a person's time should be used for self-development. See, the responsibility is upon the individual. So if it is upon the individual to have success, not the collective, but the individual, there's no point of a family. A family is a collective. Having a partner is a collective. There's no reason for me to, have a kid. That's why Western societies are closer to a demographic abyss. So let's continue on. There are ways to offset that trend, such as encouraging older workers to delay retirement. Good luck. But important, foreign labor is often the easiest option given the supply of available workers in places such as Latin America or Africa. Immigration also provides a rush of economic growth as migrants boost populations and spend money, even when it elicits blowback from conservative groups as it has in the United States and Europe. Immigration is now running to 3 times above pre-pandemic levels across major destination countries, including Canada, Germany, and the UK. In the United States, 3.3 million more migrants arrived than left last year, compared with a 2010's average of around 900,000. So this goes back down to the politics, okay? I'm not going to, read everything, but this goes back down to the politics, okay? You got people coming in trying to tell you that the reason why we're in the situation that we're in is because of, progressivism, progressives, cosmopolitanism, etc. is simple marketplace dynamics. you, and by you, I'm talking about, Western societies, and I'm including in this, decided that we didn't want to invest in our population because it costs too much money. So guess what? They traded that for lower costs and depended upon foreign labor. Now that foreign labor comes in and they do what they want and they bring their culture in, which isn't negative because, America is a melting pot, blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? They change the dynamic. They change the economics and they can make it better or they can make it worse. You look in Canada, it's basically worse. Okay? So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but here's the gist of it because, this is a real long article, which I ask you guys to read. If you are a business, okay, you depend on people. Doesn't matter if you're the business person and you lead the business. You still need to get other people's money to make yourself a living. So whatever trade you engage in, which is a collectivist activity, you need to keep in your mind that you got to deal with someone else to make a living. So what should you glean from this video? Okay. You need to get from this video that to be economically empowered, you have to engage in trade. That's all I got to say. Hope you enjoy. Have a nice day. Bye.